Everyone, thank you so much for joining the Behind Company Lines podcast. Today we have Ron Kerbs, founder and CEO of Kidas, a company that creates an AI-based solution that helps parents learn kids from online games and online. Ron, what you're doing at Kidas, but also what you've done in your career, because I know you've been involved in a lot of early stage projects, and it's so fascinating to get to pick your brain on a lot of different things. So before we dive into all that stuff, what were you doing before you started Kidas?
First of all, thank you very much, Julian, for having me here. Before I started Kidas, I was an MBA student, and I actually started Kidas with one of my classmates while I was in school. And before that, I was actually leading R&D projects, specifically in the AI machine learning parts in the world of national security. And while I was in school, I came across an article about a girl who back then I was in Philadelphia, a girl who was sexually assaulted by someone she met online. It was actually a local newspaper in Philadelphia. And I realized that, it's a huge problem. I started to research about it. It was a terrible story. And as I researched, I realized that gaming is a big part of it, especially games that include online multiplayer
Yeah,
interactions, voice chat, text chats, and currently the big companies don't have solutions for that. And so I researched that. I talked with representatives from all of those big companies. I realized that currently they don't have solutions, and I understood that I can use some of my
yeah,
technical ability from my past career to solve this problem. So
yeah.
that's how we started Kiras.
Yeah, if you think about those companies, obviously they're focused on building a great gaming experience, and I'm not sure, where kind of I don't want to say the lack of attention, but it's maybe a lack of ability to kind of dive into technology that helps kind of create a safe and secure environment. What was it that you saw that they faced in terms of the challenges to building kind of, I guess, technology around creating a safer environment? And essentially, it's just bad actors, right? It's not necessarily anything that's inherent to the game, but it's bad actors who enter the game and then take advantage of, the systems at play to have predatory procedures. But yeah, what was it in those companies that wasn't allowing them to create that layer of protection for their users?
Yeah, I think we can divide it to three parts. So those games have, scams, and they have online predators and even bullying inside those games. And those companies, the big gaming companies, they care about those things. They want to filter those players. They want to block those players. They want to provide a good gaming experience. But, tech wise, it's really difficult to understand if someone is, threatening someone as part of the game, if it's, part of the game because you play Fortnite and you're shooting at each other and someone is telling you, I'm going to kill you, or it's not related to the game. So the ability to understand the conversation and to understand the context of the conversation it's very hard and
Yeah,
difficult and technical problem that, up until the recent advancement in AI was not even, people were not even able to solve this problem. Just in the recent years, we developed, more sophisticated AI models that are able to solve this problem. So that's the first thing. So we identified that we're at a critical point tech wise to solve this problem, something that started about 2 to 3 years ago. And the second point is about liability. So those tech companies, they know that, they have the problem, but it's a huge liability to run those algorithms. What about, what if you're wrong? What if you're missing something? What if you're telling parents that, you're detecting all of the cases of scams and online predation and you miss something? And so they need
yeah,
to be 100% sure that they're making them the right calls. And that's something that if you're not focusing solely on, you
yeah,
know, providing the protection like we are, it's not something that you want to, it's not liability that you want to have. Yeah, you want to focus on building better games, not have the liability of those kind of things. And I think the last point is more about PR. So basically telling everyone that you're developing a solution for those things is basically admitting that you have the problem. And I think all of those companies know that they have a problem, but admitting PR wise that you have scams on the game. Yeah, you have online predators using the game. Yeah, you have bullying, you have hate speech on your game. That's not something that, publicity wise, most game developers and most big game companies would like to do. So that's
Yeah.
another, obstacle for the bigger gaming studio and gaming company.
That's so fascinating. You kind of really, it's kind of, it's a very empathetic approach to viewing their, the lack of, I guess, focus and attention to technology, around that nature. I'm curious of, you were talking about developing new AI models before we dive into Kidas, but I think it might segue us in there. Um, what goes into the development of AI models that allows technology to distinguish between, say, and more recently, obviously with Kidas, speech that is just game involved versus speech that is directed towards the gamer or different users? What goes into the modeling? Is it just having more data points and testing it over time? Is it, better structure or framework around those data models? What is in particular that you've seen that's really advanced to allow your company to be, um, you know, function in a very ambiguous place? Because like, I mean, like you said, is it part of the game or is it not?
Yeah, I think as part of the tech infrastructure, there are two
Yeah.
components that allow us to do that. The first one is the recent advancement in, hardware. So, the tech advancement in the recent years in GPUs and the ability to process and to build those neural networks and those AI models advanced significantly in the last, I would say, 2 to 5 years. And really great companies out there. Nvidia, Amazon are creating really good, hardware products that are able to analyze those big models and to train those models. So that's one component of that. The other component is basically our ability to get access to the gaming events. And so basically, if you build a gaming monitoring system like ours, probably like 3 years ago, you had no way to connect to the game events.
Mm,
And now, and that's a critical point in, I thought we talked about, I'm going to kill you as part of the game. And if I know that as part of the game, someone is shooting at you because I have the ability to get gaming events as part of the game, that's critical for me, for our models to understand if it's part of the game or if it's, outside of the context. And in
yeah.
the recent few years, there were a few big players, Overwolf, our partner, is one of them, that created APIs to get connected to those games. So
Yeah.
game developers and extension developers like us could get connected to the game and understand what are the events that are happening within the game, and then
Yeah.
combine them with the voice chats, with the text chats. And that allows us to build better models and better accuracy for detecting those cases.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's incredible to think about the amount of influence and impact that other pieces of both physical and software technology has on creating products and models like yours. I don't think a lot of us consider how hardware has such a place in here to have the computing power to then help train these models, like you said. Um, and obviously there's, I think we can all come up with reasons why parents need such a product like yours. But, when you are a parent or any individual going into this game, really, because I don't think any of us want to be harassed online or caught in a situation where we feel that, we were slighted and, have a bad experience. Um, why do we need this product, and how does this product influence, maybe positively or otherwise, a community that is I think exponentially growing year over year in terms of gaming and even within sports, it's now become, something that is competitive. Why do we need it, and what are the effects that a product like yours has in future generations?
Yeah, actually, I think our main target audience are kids who are starting to play those online multiplayer video games. We're talking about the age of 8 or 9 years old, and
Yeah,
going up to 14 and 15. And when they start playing the game, they're actually not aware of what is the right way to do that. So they see that happening. They see a lot of hate speech. They see a lot of bullying, a lot of scams, and you know past generations did it and they
yeah,
learn it from the older players, and that they think that that's the way to deal with that, and no one is actually guiding them. Think about like driving, like the first time that
yeah,
you were driving, no one just gave you the keys and just told you, okay, let's go. And people were showing you how to drive, what is the right way to drive, and we look at it at the same in video games. And most parents today don't sit by their kids when they play video games. They don't show them how to play and what is the right way to do that. and we look at ourselves as the seatbelt, as the way to protect kids once they start dealing with those video games, to teach them how to do that, to recommend parents how kids can benefit from those video games, because I believe that video games are great. They provide a lot of values
Yeah.
to kids. We just have to do it in a very safe way. And once they get older, once they reach 15 or 16,
Yeah.
they can delete our software. We basically we taught them how to deal with those situations. Their parents taught them how to deal with those situations, and then we can secure the next generation of the gamers, because
Yeah.
those gamers who already graduated from our software, they're going to be positive gamers. They're not going to be gamers who use hate speech. They're not going to be bullying some other players, and then they're going to teach the younger generation how to
Yeah.
play better and in a positive way. And that's, I think, the biggest difference that we're making out there.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love how it's kind of a legacy technology, but essentially it kind of filters out a really important growth period in both, I guess, in a gamer's evolution, but also in an adolescence evolution. Really kind of creating a framework of how you should be interacting. Like certain sports have certain rules, and if you play it right, then you have the ability to advance in it maybe more quickly, or you have a better environment to have more fun and really have a positive experience. How does your technology work? So does it plug in from the gamer side, from the game side, from the console side? Where does your technology interact? And who is how is it, I guess, added into the experience, and in what piece?
Yeah, we currently support PCs only. So parents download our software to their kids' gaming PC. 40% of the gamers in the US actually use PC and as their main device. Parents download the software to their kids' PC device and they install it. We then automatically connect to more than 200 games. We mentioned some of them: Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite, Call of Duty, all of the main games. We then connect to the events from the games and also the voice streams and the text. And then we'll start analyzing what is happening, and we alert parents about a situation that may put their kids in danger. So things like scams, harassment, bullying, hate speech. And each report comes with a brief explanation of what happens. We don't provide voice recording. We don't provide the full chat, because we want to preserve the privacy of the participants. We just provide a small summary of what happened.
Yeah.
I'm talking about what AI can do these days. And also we provide them with recommendations on how to deal with the situation. So we partnered
Yeah.
with psychologists and psychiatrists from CHOP, the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. They have one of the biggest bullying research department in the US, and two of their psychologists are actually working with us to provide recommendation to parents how to deal with it with their kids. And a lot of the early cases of parents just told their kids, okay, I saw that you were bullied. I saw that you suffer from
Yeah.
hate speech. I saw that you were exposed to those things. So you're not allowed to play anymore. That's actually one of the bad things that you can do to your child.
Yeah.
A lot of those kids use those video games as a way to communicate with their friends, as a
Yeah.
social playground for them and their friends. And banning them from those video games is actually not the right approach. But we provide recommendation on how to deal with those situations, how to talk with your child
Yeah.
about, suffering from those things, how to stand up, and what do you need to say if someone else is bullied. Maybe you're not even bullying anyone and no one is bullying you, but you hear someone else that is being
Yeah.
bullied. And all of those things, how not to be a bystander, and how all of those things are things
Yeah.
that we provide in our recommendations to parents, and
Yeah.
hopefully parents could talk with their kids about those situations and educate them what is the right approach.
Yeah. Well, do you have any recent examples that you could share of like a situation where there was some kind of conflict? You alerted a parent and they had like a really constructive and positive interaction with their child, and ended up having a more an improved gaming experience. Do you have anything you could share with us in the audience?
Yeah, of course, I'll not share games or location, but and names, of course. But we had a child who was extorted by his classmates. They wanted him um, to send them some virtual currency of the specific game, and we were able to alert the parent, and, the mom talked with the child. She didn't know about it before. She just saw that the child was spending a lot of time playing the game. And it wasn't a very usual behavior because, he was playing, but not as much as he was playing at this
Mm,
time. And sometimes the opposite happens for kids. So they're being bullied or extorted, and they actually play more because they want to be ranked higher, maybe prove those bullies that they can do better. And so unless playing, not playing less, but playing more. And she was able to resolve the situation with the child, with the parents, and actually they were his classmates. So, and they were able to resolve it in school and with the parents of the other kids. And so that was a situation that, um, was very positive for,
yeah,
for all of us, because eventually there was someone who was being bullied, extorted, and,
yeah,
and, now can play safely and even better with some of the classmates. We had another case of children discussing bringing a real gun to school, which we alerted to parents. And, all of the school shootings happening recently in the US, that was pretty urgent. And so we notified one of the parents that one of the participants in the game was planning to bring a real gun to school. And those are kind of the alerts that we send to
wow,
parents every week. Every week we have those kind of alerts. And that we
wow,
send to
wow,
parents about scams, about online harassments, about real guns, discussing about suicidal
yeah,
ideation, and real things that,
yeah.
we're pretty proud of protecting kids every day.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love, first of all, thank you for sharing such honest stories about, the actual, situations that you're facing, because I think a lot of people may have the propensity to shy away, maybe thinking that bringing up the topic elicits some kind of emotion about following through. But oftentimes, and maybe if you can attest to this, is when you bring up a situation, have a discussion about it, actually kind of, you know, takes it down to a realistic level, and takes that, hot moment into a cool moment where you can really, you know, intervene without having to intervene so actively. It's such proactive, and it's essentially handled a lot lighter. So it's so crazy to think about how often that you said every week is pretty intense. But it's there's a lot of gamers, there's a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of people who struggle with certain thoughts or feelings, and I think the more we can be influenced and interactive with these kids, is a way to kind of mitigate that reality. Um, Tell us a little bit more about, I don't have a lot of founders who have a direct to consumer kind of model like this. And I'm curious about, what are the challenges that you face? Is it, kind of having parents adopt technology, and how you get kind of a go-to-market strategy, thinking about, getting this out to your customer base? Is it a lot of marketing? Is it a lot of education? Is it word of mouth? What are the ways that you've kind of overcome the challenge that a lot of companies face when they have a direct-to-consumer product, where, they need downloads and adoption, and people using their product to kind of gain a volume approach? I'm just curious about your strategy in tackling that particular aspect of your business.
Yeah. So in our case, I think the biggest issue that we had was trust issue. And so,
Mm,
parents should trust us with their kids' most private information. They want to know that you're secure enough, that you store their data in a safe way. And secondly, that you don't use it for anything else but protecting their kids, that you don't sell it, you don't use it for ads, you don't, share it with anyone. And in the beginning, because we were a small brand and, not recognized brand, like we got a calls, and I like to talk with our customers and, potential customers. I hop on a call with a potential customer, and she asked me, like, is it a Chinese scam? Like, why is it like, well, what is it? Like, are you selling my information? Is it a virus, or what is it? And of course, me having my Israeli accent didn't really help, talking with someone that, sounding foreigner. And so all of those things, like building trust, was a main thing for us in the early days. And we got some great partners behind us. And that's
yeah,
one of the things that we built to build this trust. So, and we're now partnering with Intel, and they're bundling
yeah,
our software in a few selected retailers in the US. And Comcast is one of our investors and partners. And So overall, a big gaming company is
Yeah.
partnering with us, and we talked about how their technology is being used in our product. And we have two big partnerships that we're going to announce very soon. And so definitely wait to share it, but I unfortunately cannot share um, some of those partnerships just yet.
Yeah, no, I wish we were close to the launch of that and maybe an exclusive on behind company lines, but totally understand it. That's so impressive, and that's exciting that you're able to partner with larger companies and brands to get that notoriety, to get that level of confidence, to adopt a technology like yours. What went into the partnerships? You know, if you're able to give a little bit of anecdotal advice to other founders on how to partner with brands that they think can not only have a your technology could impact their business and their customer base positively, but also give you some notoriety as a small company growing. What advice would you give to founders who are looking to do the same with larger companies and brands?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice that I could give is, building relationship with people, not companies. At the end, on the other side, you have people, it's not companies, and you need to build relationship with the people on the other side to make sure that they trust you. And
Yeah,
with some of the
yeah,
bigger companies, it takes time until you form the partnership. Sometimes it takes more than 12 months from the minute you met them for the first time until you actually close something. And in the meantime, you need to make sure that, first of all, they trust you. Secondly, that they like you. And thirdly, that it makes sense for them. And so unless it's a win-win
yeah,
situation, and unless you think about what they're gaining from the situation, from the partnership, and not just the company, them personally,
yeah,
as a way to leverage it within the company, inside the company, it's just not something that is going to happen. So one of our core
yeah.
values at Kidas is win-win mentality. Think what our partners can get from partnering with Kidas, and what can we do for them to make sure that they'll continue to win by partnering with Kidas.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love the win-win mentality. What's kind of the future of gaming, kind of transitioning to think about kind of the long-term view, with, we talked, we discussed this, I think, before the podcast, but it's like the metaverse and all these more virtual and online, platforms that are, it's a more visceral experience because you're kind of enclosed and engulfed in this world, more so than you would, because of the optical component, but I'm sure there would be more sensors and more things that allow you to feel more present and realistic. But within that future, where do we see gaming going, and where do we see technology like yours having to evolve to?
Yeah, I think if I divide my answer to three, as I did before answering, I think that there are three main topics that we should cover. The first one is cloud gaming, and the second one is developers and extensions to gaming, and the third one is the development of the metaverse. And I'll start with cloud gaming. I think cloud gaming is there. People would
Yeah,
not need those expensive machines, the expensive Xbox, the expensive PlayStation, the expensive PC devices in order to play very, you know, graphic heavy games. And once you have those cloud gaming and providers, you can just use your very, your phone. It doesn't have to be very strong even, and connect to some of the most heavy and heavy graphic games out there and run them from the cloud. And I think that's a big development that a lot of big players are now focusing on. Secondly, I think we're going to see more Roblox of the world. So one of the main things that Roblox offered to the gaming community is the ability of game developers to build upon Roblox, to build their own games in Roblox. So there are a lot of games, and people tend to think that Roblox is one game, but Roblox is actually, thousands of games. They have a lot of popular games like Adopt Me, and they have like smaller niche games. But I think we're going to see more games opening their APIs and to more developers allowing external developers and the community to build extensions and to build mods for their games. And Overall, one of our partners just recently announced a collaboration with EA and Sims to basically allow Sims developers to provide extension. And the last thing that I think I want to cover is the metaverse. So when we're talking about the metaverse, I think that kids that are playing today Roblox or Fortnite or Minecraft, I think they'll grow and the platform will grow with them. So as they start becoming teenagers or now maybe kids or maybe young adults, and they'll continue using those platforms, then but they'll use them in other ways. We already see that, some of the biggest brands in the world, like Burberry, just like I saw them a few days ago, running, fashion shows on Minecraft. Um, and those things are, I think we're going to see more of these. And we're talking about the metaverse, and we're talking about, Meta, the company, Facebook, developing the metaverse. And I believe that the real metaverse is actually going to come from gaming, from the 90% of the kids in the US who are playing games, who are, growing up and still using those games as a metaverse as a ways to socialize.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. A friend that works, or he used to work from Lauder Studios. I think he got a new job, but he works with the Unreal Engine, and he was showing me a lot of different ways that they're developing hyper realistic, environments, and the way it's becoming so much more involved, and having developers like him, or he's kind of a designer slash developer, one intersection, I think, but having individuals like him be able to, you know, build into a world that's kind of like open source code, right? It allows you to add so much more intelligence to and capability to one product or one item or one experience. So fascinating to see the growth of it. And I'm curious, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face today?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge that we face today is basically um, the inherent balance between privacy and security. So people want to, you know, their information, they want privacy, but they also want to be protected. And in some ways, in order to protect kids, you need to analyze their information. And in some cases, you can't do it only on the device. You need to send some of the information to your servers. And so I think there is a fine balance between security and privacy. And I talked about it before. That's one of the reasons that we don't share voice recording with parents, because we think that kids should have their privacy. But the fine balance between privacy and security is something that we're always considering. And sometimes, we're choosing security and sometimes we're choosing privacy. But it's a very fine line that we're struggling, and it challenges us every day. And so I think that's one of the biggest, things
Yeah.
that we and other security companies are dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah. If everything goes well, what's the long-term vision for Kidas?
Yeah, the long-term vision for Kidas is basically to be a hub for parents. And we want all games out there to be connected to Kidas and have parents log into their dashboard on Kidas, see what is happening in all of the games that their kids are playing, understand how can they control the games. So set up some parental controls from within the dashboard, get alerts from within the dashboard, and basically have one place in which they can be exposed to their kids' gaming experience, learn more about it, and control it with their kids. Um, our long-term vision sees, a world in which, people don't use anonymity to
Yeah.
for hate speech and for scams, and they know that they wouldn't do something that they're not doing in real life, within those games.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that kind of mission and that goal. And a lot of it sounds like it's not only part of building trust, but education, good technology. And I love the balance between privacy and security because, it just, I don't think it's a small thing, and I'm not sure how much people consider, but, kids having the privacy to speak and kind of have that feedback without, you know, too much guidance, is extremely important for development. Kind of testing in the world, right? And, as kids grow, they test it to see their boundaries or people's boundaries. But the security layer with new technology is so fascinating because, testing those boundaries can lead to more critical results. But it's so amazing to hear what you're building. So exciting to see, the technology grow. Impressive to see the partners that you've been able to have. And I can't wait to hear who the new partners are. And I always like to ask this question, one for selfish research purposes, but for my audience as well. Whether it was early in your career, whether it's now, what books or people are influencing or have influenced you the most?
Yeah, I would say that, you know, early in my career, one of my former bosses, his name is Victor, taught me a lot about, getting things done, a lot about managing my time. It was one of the first time that I was managing other people. Basically, it taught me a lot about managing priorities, managing time, pushing myself and pushing other people, to get things done. And, once you have this mentor, early in this career, it usually affects you for later in your career, and you basically set the foundation for later on in your career. So I was very
Yeah,
fortunate to have him early in my career.
I love that. I love that. Well, Ron, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm so excited to share this with my audience, and I'm really excited about how you're building kind of an innovative technology to allow an experience to be, that much more enjoyable for everyone, and kind of push out the bad actors, and but also kind of support the growth of an industry that continues to grow, as we chatted before the show, exponentially year over year. There's more people going online, there's more people gaming, and being involved in these environments. But last little bit before we end the show, where can we find you? Where can we support the mission, the goal? If I'm a customer, if I have children, where can I get your technology? Give us your websites, your Twitters, your LinkedIn's. Where can we be a part of Kidas's journey?
Yeah. So definitely encourage all parents out there to go to our website, getkidas.com. And we have a free trial, 30 days free trial, right? And most of them would stay with that after they see the benefit. And you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter, and get Kidas. And you can find me personally on LinkedIn and Twitter, Ron Kerbs.
Love it. Thank you so much, Ron, for being on the show. I hope you yourself, and I can't wait to share this with my audience. But again, thank you for being on the show, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I hope to catch up with you soon.
Thanks, Julian, and thanks for having me.
Good.